We're currently looking at Syntervision's Oasis Manager application, and we're on the CMDB page. The CMDB section of Oasis Manager actually contains all services, groups, application devices, components that it's monitoring, along with the historical data, both from a performance and event perspective, that's been captured. For this video, we want to focus on using Oasis Manager to manage an F5BigIP. So the first thing we'll start with is, starting on the CMDB page, we need to locate an F5 load balancer in order to drill into it. There's multiple ways to get there from this page. One of the first is you can expand your vendors tab, and you will see all of the vendors that are currently in monitoring. And here in the middle we see F5 networks, and we see that we have 10 assets that fall underneath it. Another option for us would be to go underneath our class section and take a look at the device's load balancers, since that's what this device is. So if we expand it, you can come down and you see your load balancer class. We could drill directly in there as well. Since we know the name of the device, or the partial name of it, we will just search for it today. So I'm going to put in L001, since that's the last portion of the name of the load balancer I'm interested in. I'm going to hit the update, and it brings back all the classes. This is out of the Common Information Model, in which that L001 appears. I know I'm looking for a load balancer, so I'll just expand that and then click on ESM-USIN L001, and it is going to take me directly to that dashboard for that device. So now we see that we're under the CMDB, the class load balancer. The device we're looking at is ESM-USIN L001, and we're on the dashboard view. So on the dashboard view, what we have here is, at a quick glance, we have any live incidents or active events that would be taking place, and we can see right now it is clean for this device. You could click here on historical to go back and look at anything that's happened in the past, and we keep approximately 13 months worth of data. If you look lower on the screen, and we'll start here in the top left, here's your processor utilization for this load balancer, and you see that it is a Linux box, and that's why it's pulling it the way it does: CPU idle, CPU system, CPU user. For any of these graphs that you see here, there's the option to turn on or off any of the metrics on the graph by just clicking on them. Same thing applies over here for memory. You can see your memory utilization, timestamp at the bottom, and metric at the top. And if we go down here to the interface, it works the exact same way. You got input and output utilization, and then also any type of errors are dropped. Again, we can turn on or off of any of these as well. So let's start over here on the left. So we're on the dashboard view right now. We're going to want to go through the virtual server statistics, and then that's with a big IP is the virtual IPs that are configured on the front of them that actually presents the service to be consumed by the end user. Behind the virtual IPs, there's pools. So basically this would be a representation of the server pool that would be behind a virtual IP. The F5 Big IP also does network address translation, in which they refer to as SNAT. So we'll look at those statistics as well, and then we'll take a few minutes to run through the reporting around some of the performance statistics. So let's start with the virtual server. So when this device was added to monitoring, it went out and done a discovery. The Oasis Manager did, and these are the pools in which it actually, these are the server virtual servers that it found on this load balancer. We have it configured so that every 24 hours it goes out and looks at this device again. If there's any changes, it will update the monitoring automatically. Any of this data can be exported at any time to a CSV by clicking on it. So what we're looking at here is the name of the virtual server, and we'll spread this out so that we can see the full name. All the rows can be customized that way. You see the status. We pull this directly off the load balancer, and if you hover over it, you can get it to the help to tell you what that means. Like green means its availability equals OK. Blue means that it's OK, but there's either a service check not enabled underneath it for one of the pool members. So we can quickly get the status for the virtual server. If there's any of these that we're interested in looking at what's been taking place with it historically, you have the reporting icon here on the left hand side. You can click on this graph and it will pop up another window, and in that window it's going to have all of the metrics in which we're collecting associated with the virtual server we just selected. In this case it was ESM-Z1-IP-VS. So for example, if you were interested in the bytes, and this would be both for bytes in and out, we'll expand it, and you can again see over time how the data, the actual raw data that's been collected, and at the bottom you see the timestamp. As with all of our graphs, you can highlight an area and drill right into it, and it will update. Again, you can turn on or off any of the metrics that's being pulled. As with every report that we have, a performance report, you can also set a beginning and an end date and click apply, or you can click the buttons which is the default is 24 hours, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. We also offer the capability that you can export immediately to a PDF, a CSV, or a PNG if you want to create this out to a report to do something with. So the first thing we looked at under group metrics is our bytes in and out. You have connections, duration, packets, etc. Then we can go down here underneath your raw metrics that have been taken place, and some of these are kind of boring, like your availability states. These are going to be basically like ones or zero type of monitoring that you would see, and you could see where it was not available. You can look at your client current connections. This one is sometimes an interesting one to look at, and we can kind of see where it's jumped up and then went back down. So looking that over time can be of interest to you as well. Also here we have our client connections. You would also have your server ports that are being running and any stats based off of total connection rate here as well. So we'll close this out, and you look at the bottom part of the screen and we see that this box does have an SSL accelerator, and it is configured here on the bottom. We have bytes in, bytes out, and current connections. Currently there's no current connections, but we'll click on the graph again and you can see that it works the exact same way, and you can see there for SSL over the timestamps here, over the time period, the data that had been being gathered. Again, you have still all the same capability you did with the virtual server here at the top. So after looking at the virtual server, let's look at the pools that are directly behind it. So by clicking on the pool statistics, it brings up all of our pools. You will notice that you'll have the name of the pool, and then we'll actually have the member behind it. So the name of the pool, again, we have our stat. This one is actually offline. This pool is. You'll see that this pool is offline but enabled, whereas this one was actually disabled at this point in time. So you can get all your status here at a glance. As we come down these, again, we have our bytes in, bytes out, just like we did on the first screen: packets in, maximum connections, etc. Let's jump down here a little bit lower and see if there's any interesting data. I'm seeing that here's a pool named ESM TCP 888, and we can look at its data here from its last poll. It's got 3 servers configured behind it, this H16, 17, and 15. I see that 17 is actually disabled, so all the traffic should be going to these 2 pools. So at a glance, I can see on my last poll that their maximum connections was 27 and 24, which looks like they've been balanced very evenly. Right now there's not much traffic on those. If you want to drill into, say, a report, you can click on the graph and it will pop us up a report that we can go into, just like we saw a little while ago. I won't take you through all the details, but I will expand one of them just so that you can see the data there, and it works exactly like it did for our server pool. So we can look at the VIP, and here's an example of looking at your pool members and your actual overall pool, how it's been performing. So this is a quick way to be able to come in and see has the traffic been evenly distributed across the pool, what members are available underneath my pools, do I have any type of issues. Also keep in mind, any of these data points that are being collected can have a threshold set with them. So for example, if it crosses say utilization, we can have it create an alert. The alert can just be an event, or it could be an email, or it could open to your ticketing system. Also for errors, we can do the same thing. Let's look under your SNAT statistics. So SNATs are network address translation. Not very exciting, but you will see again that we have the SNAT, the address that it's being translated to, and then you can actually see the volume of data that has been taking place with it. So this is helpful for being able to look at these pools over time to see what's taking place if you have any questions associated with this. Under your reporting section, for everything that we're pulling, you can go in and look at this again, up to 13 months worth of performance data associated with this. Your historical events, we keep those for 13 months as well. We also, just like with every device out there, we have your device history, which would tell us if there's been any configurations that's changed on this box since we've added it to monitoring. We have SNMP test that goes out and just polls to see if SNMP is responding. We have connectivity, which is a lot of people find handy. What I can do at a glance is I can say that this device, here's its interfaces, as you can see with their IPs, their duplex configuration, and their opera into admin status, and then also compare that against the switch in which it's connected to. Anytime you see a blue device that you can double click and drill into it, that's the same thing on your statistics page. If you were interested at any devices that we have under monitoring, for example, say this H15, H16 here, you can click on the device and it will take us directly to that device, and you can get the any of the performance or historical data or live data that's associated with that device. So that's a quick overview of the F5BigIP monitoring using the SyntervisionOasis Manager application. Thank you.